When I was a younger kid, I was always a little bit rambunctious. It wasn't enough for me to just tentatively do things. I always wanted to go full out. And so, that's why it didn't seem that out of character that the incident happened at nap time during preschool. So during that day, we were all gathered and we were making these long, beautiful necklaces. And they were made out of these triangular beads, and you would stack them one on top of the other. And there were many, many, many different colors, so you could choose whatever color you liked. I specifically really liked this one clear one. And so I took one of these beads and I put it in my pocket, and I thought, okay, I'm going to play with this later. And so the activity wraps up, and we all head to nap time, and everybody's on their mat and they're napping. And I take out this bead, and I am just rolling it between my fingers. And I'm playing with it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, what if I stuck this bead up my nose? Would I be able to get it back down?
No.
And so I stick this bead up my nose, and I'm able to get it back down. And so I'm starting to get a little excited because I created this really cool game with myself. And so I'm like, okay, let's try it a little further. And so I take this bead and I stick it just a little further, and I'm able to get it back down. And so now my adrenaline is like rushing, and I am feeling really daring, and I'm like, what would happen if I jammed this bead in my nose? And so I take this bead and I jam it into my nose. And it's up there. So I'm like, okay, cool, it's up there. And I stick my finger up my nose, and I'm trying to get it out. And it doesn't come out. So I'm laying there for the next 10 minutes with my finger up my nose, trying to get it out, but it doesn't come out. So finally I get up and I'm like, I should probably tell somebody. So I go over to my teacher and I'm like, Miss, there's a bead in my nose and I can't get it out. And so she takes a flashlight and she shines it up my nose, and she goes, Denise, I don't see anything in there. Are you sure there's a bead up there? Turns out because the bead was clear, you can't see the bead. And I'm like, no, it's in there. Did it myself, I know. So she takes the flashlight and she shines it up again. And she's like, Denise, I don't see anything in there. Are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. And she's like, okay, well, if you're sure, I'm going to have to call your mom, and she's going to have to come get you, because she's probably going to have to take you to the doctor to get this bead removed, because I don't know where it is and I don't know what to do. And so I fall quiet. And I'm thinking it through, because my mom, she's a nurse, and she works downtown about an hour away. And I know that if my mom came, she would totally solve everything, because she always solves everything. But I also know that if my mom came, she would totally yell at me. And, I don't really like to be yelled at, but I'm mulling this through, and finally I decide I should probably call my mom because I can't get this dang bead out of my nose. So the teacher calls my mom shows up 45 minutes later, and she takes the flashlight, shines it up my nose again, and she doesn't see it, but she goes, Denise, is there a bead up your nose? And I say, yeah, Mom, it's in there. And she's like, okay, come on, let's go. So we get in the car, and we are driving to the hospital. And I am sweating because I don't know what happens at the hospital. I'm getting nervous. We get to the hospital, and we go right in. And the the doctors take an x-ray of my nose, put it up on the screen, and lo and behold, there's the bead. And he looks at me and he goes, wow, you really stuck it in there, didn't you? And so he leaves the room and he comes back. And he comes back with these long tweezers about this long. And my eyes grow real big. And my mom looks at me and she looks really worried. And so as these tweezers go up my nose and the cold metal touches my nostril, I am just begging, please, please come out. And luckily the bead does come out. And as the bead is dropped onto the metal tray, my mom and I both let out a sigh of relief. And then my mom turns at me and she goes, Denise, next time can you just be good and take a nap like everybody else? And I look at her and I go, yeah, Mom, sure, we'll do. And I really did try, but, I would later end up back in the hospital for breaking my arm twice, developing some weird warts on my knees, and having a really bad case of head lice. But through it all, my mom has always stuck really, really solidly by me. And I've learned that there's kind of a blurry line between treading boldly and doing stupid stuff. And despite everything I do, the bold stuff and the stupid stuff, my mom has always been by my side. And so tonight, my mom actually, she flew all the way from California to be here tonight, and she's here on my next bold project, TreadBoldly. She unfortunately got really sick and had to go home, but I bet she's not faking it because she flew all the way here. But anyways, welcome to the show.